Would you like to reduce your net fleet fuel spend by 10 to 23%? Could you use that money in other areas in your company while reducing your carbon footprint at the same time? Click the link below and learn more. All right. Hey, welcome everybody to Freight Executive Insights. I'm Michael Vincent. I am not the Freight Executive with Insights, but I have one with me, and his name is Bill Hale. And so you're co-founder and CEO at FetchGoat, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And so you guys organize and then manage goat hunting trips in Rockies. Is that what it is?
Pretty damn close. That's pretty damn close. we use goats to fetch data.
Oh, there you go. See, goat. All right. So goats are fetching data. So that's cool. So, there's a company called Badass Coffee, and it's from Hawaii, right? And it's because the donkeys are badasses, right? Because they carry everything down, right? Where did FetchGoat come from, dude? And what are you guys actually doing?
Man, so it was really a budget decision. So when we were trying to come up with a name. So first of all, we would go to Atlanta, and we'd hole up in a Courtyard by Marriott a conference room like over the weekend because there's no one occupied it, right? So they were free. So we would go in there, and we had, we were laying everything out for the technology and the platform. And it came down to, we were finally to a point that we needed a name. And I'm kind of a marketing nerd. And so my co-founders and I, so we start wanting to come up with names. And so we laid down some ground rules. Number one, it needed to be descriptive of what the company does, so we wanted it to explain. People think, okay, well, we fetch data, right? So our system goes out and fetches data and brings it back, and we arrange it for our customers. So, okay, so we liked fetch. And so we thought, okay, well, fetch is taken. So what are we going to put with fetch to make it work? And I said, hold on, I got another thing. It needs to be spelled correctly, because there's a lot of companies out there that use play on words, it's just it's difficult to find, and it's difficult for SEO, difficult to find. And so I said, I want it to be spelled correctly. And then the third thing is, man, it would be really cool if we had a mascot, because I grew up, having a mascot, with companies we worked with. And so probably the most notable is a company called BVEX, a last mile company, BVEX, which is around forever and eventually sold to T-Force. But we had BVEX, we had this big giant beaver named Chops. And so all the customers love Chops. So I thought it'd be great to have a mascot. So we're trying to work it all in. So we thought, okay, what about Go Fetch? Well, no, hell, that's taken too. And then someone says, what about Fetch Go? I was like, no, it's available, but it was really expensive, the URL to buy it. And then someone blurted out, I think a couple more of us said, hey, what about Fetch Goat? Like the goat, like the greatest of all time. And you can't have a conversation today without someone mentioning the GOAT, whether it's Tom Brady or, Mike Tyson. And we looked up the URL, and it was available for $9.95. So sold. We grabbed FetchGoat, and the rest is history.
So you had to go greatest of all time because like Mike Tyson and Tom Brady were taken. So you couldn't do like Fetch Mike Tyson.
Right.
That wouldn't work. Or fetch Michael Jordan. You'd get into lawsuits. I mean, that'd be problems, right?
Absolutely. Although the platform is badass. So the Fetch Tyson would have worked.
Yeah, shoot fire, right? I mean, and I love that everybody says that. He said everybody's got a plan till you get punched in the face, but I'm pretty sure that was like Eisenhower Patton.
Yes. Yeah, I think so too. But it just sounds better coming from Tyson.
It does, and especially if you can do it in his voice, it becomes even better. I remember.
I won't even go there.
I forget who he beat, like an 85 or 6 or something like that. Mm-hmm. He beat like Buster Douglas or something like that. He said he was making women's noises from perhaps the 3rd round on or something like that.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to his upcoming fight. I really am.
I think it's going to be fantastic. I wouldn't box him if he was 95 years old. I wouldn't box that guy.
Nope.
He's nuts. He's nuts.
No, thank you.
Maybe if they took out his chompers or something like that.
Yeah. Or blindfolded him.
You're blindfolded him. Exactly. So you're fetching delivery data for people and organizing it for companies that have multiple streams of delivery, right? To organize this and optimize the deliveries, right? Is this it's all on the delivery side, and it's interest. I'm kind of asking that question at the same time as I'm making a statement because it's interesting to me when people talk about final mile, et cetera, because it you have to have there's a different middle mile to have final mile, et cetera. So are you long hauled as well? Because that's delivery as well. I mean, where do
Yeah.
you cut it off and delineate what it is you're hitting at?
Yeah, Michael, we don't. I mean, we are completely mode agnostic, and so
Okay,
we started out working on the last mile because that part is the most fractured
sure.
and the most difficult. So we thought, okay, if we can get this dialed in the last mile, then everything else is a piece of cake for us.
Right.
And so, what we do is we come in and we look at an organization, all their delivery partners, whether it doesn't matter what mode, and then we lay our technology over the top. We aggregate all that data into one platform for them, so they can see everything in one place. And the whole idea came from the years that we spent in, from LTL to full truck to big box distribution, last mile. That's all of our backgrounds came from that. And the one thing the one big takeaway that we had in doing so is we would go and we'd visit a customer, right? No matter what size, could be, multinational, multi-billion dollar company, could be a small regional company. But when you'd go in and meet with them, you walk into a conference room, we would talk about our business, talk about their business, or talk about our performance. And then we would always go outside into operations or to customer service, and we would meet with the team, right? And that
Yeah.
team, those are the folks that are communicating back with the office, right?
Yeah.
So with our customer service and our office and our OS&D and all of those folks, so, but it's happening manually. And it's happening phone calls and emails. Why? Well, because every damn one of us is using a different technology. So it's not the shipper on their side that's broken. It's our industry that's
Yeah.
broken. And
It
so
is.
we're just helping that shipper with technology become more efficient. And so our goal is if we could build that platform to make the shipper more efficient and make the carrier or the delivery partner, we'll call them, if we can make them more efficient, then we've got something special. And so for the shippers, reducing the inbound phone calls and emails to their delivery providers, we're able to reduce that by 67%. So now you're a small or regional carrier. You're having to hire all these folks to answer the phone for fill in the blank customer that calls,
Yeah.
57 times a day, looking for PODs, looking for rate quotes, looking for status updates. If we can do that and eliminate those phone calls, then they can be more efficient. And so, and as we know, the carriers, are always the one getting ground up and not necessarily fair all the time. So we're doing
Yeah.
our best
No.
to help everybody be more efficient.
Yeah. Gotcha. I love that. I love that. Once I did, we created, from our EDIs and stuff like that, we created an automated email that would just send customers updates on their shipments when I was
Yeah.
at a previous life. And the way we got people to sign up for it is I created a marketing campaign and I just sent it out without getting it approved. But it said, "Are you are you as sick of are you as sick of calling us for updates on your shipment as we are of getting your phone calls?"
That's great. But you know what? It was effective, right?
It
It
was
got people's
incredibly
attention.
effective. I got like a 60% sign up rate off of that campaign from
Oh,
our
that's
customers.
great. That's great.
Because
I may
they're like,
may
hell
need to
yeah,
borrow.
this guy gets it. This guy gets it.
Yeah, well, it's the truth. It really
Yeah.
is. And look, there's something to be said for for a shipper having a relationship with those folks because that's really where the relationship is.
Yeah.
But on the shipper side, there's so many more things they could be doing to drive revenue or helping the company be more efficient than sitting on hold, waiting to get answers on a shipment where they could have that at their fingertips.
Yeah, and that was always the rule. It was pounded into your head from my day one in LTL back in the day with Roadway Express. even when you're in operations, you're selling because you're the one moving the customer's goods. So selling and having the right information is selling. It's also operations and making things happen. And proactive customer contact was preached and preached and preached for several reasons. One, it's the right thing to do, but two, you manipulated your on-time service that way too, right?
Right. Yeah. No,
you did. I called Bill. Hey, is this Bill Hale? Yeah, I got a shipment for you. I'm going to deliver it next Tuesday. Okay. Yeah, great. Okay. Appointment.
Yeah, that's right. Goes in appointment status, on time changed.
It was due yesterday. It was due yesterday, but it's an appointment for next Tuesday, so it's on time now.
you get a waiver if it's an appointment. Absolutely. Yeah. So we took that to a little different level, and man, I would like to take credit for it because it was brilliant. But I did. It was our co-founder and CTO and their team, a team of engineers. They so we adopted AI fairly early on when we started development, and so obviously, from a machine learning standpoint, we're dealing with a lot of data, as you can imagine. And we've got some of the largest labs and healthcare systems in the world that are moving data in 29 countries, and so we've got data everywhere. And so we're one of the things that if you recall, when you go visit a customer, there's always a TV up in the corner, and that TV is showing the Weather Channel, right?
Yep.
Someone's always looking at the Weather Channel in every single operation, and so we wanted to take that to a different level. And also we wanted to fix the QBR system. And so let's go back to the weather. When we deployed AI, we were looking, we used machine learning really to look at different trends and patterns, and with the data and what caused delays and what kind of delays, and let's address those, and be able to predict moving forward when something happened that we knew historically this is X would happen and then Y would transpire afterwards. And so we deployed AI, and it's in a controlled environment, right? So it's not public AI that goes out and reaches the public, internet. So this is all private. It's all within our own network, within our own instance. But we're using that data along with AI for the communication factor. So machine learning tells us that these are where delays happen. So then we thought, okay, well, what about weather? What if we could automate weather? So when an area came up for a weather warning, whether it be a storm warning, a flood warning, a tornado warning, whatever it was, then those shipments in that region that were going to be affected, AI would immediately send an email and let the operation know, hey, there is a storm warning in this particular area. These shipments are going to be delayed. Be advised. And so, so if you think about what we used to do, we used to have to monitor and then guess and then figure out, okay, well, do we have any live shipments in that area? Do we have any drivers in the area? I mean, it was just, all over the place trying to coordinate all that. And we're doing that like that using AI. And so it's amazing. It really is.
No, it is amazing because, how many days I woke up and ran into the terminal in central Pennsylvania at 3:00 in the morning to start inbound, only to know that there was an ice storm over the Laurel Mountains in Latrobe where they brew Rolling Rock, and none of my inbound was coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a game changer for us, and really for our customers too, because again, it frees up somebody from doing a manual job. When we're relying on the technology, and in the QBR side, the QBR you've been in enough, Michael, same as I, where we spend hours, if not days, getting QBR data together, and shining it up real nice and make sure that we're 97.8% on time.
It, baby.
And then we remove, of course, we have the controllables and uncontrollables. And so we're ready for our QBR meeting. We show up with our data. The customer has their data, and it doesn't match. We've got weather delays that we've noted that we think we had, and some of them we may or may not had. But now we have a tool within the platform that it's literally 2 clicks in about 4 seconds, and you have one version of data, one version of the truth. It goes out, looks at the historical weather. If there was indeed a weather delay, it's going to bring that up and highlight it and let the customer know there was validated weather delays in that area. I mean, it's just changed, really changed the game how we do
Yeah.
QBRs, and it's so much more efficient. And I can't imagine now. It's super easy for them. And
Yeah, it's super easy. Yeah.
yeah, so we let
Because
the
even when we were putting
carrier.
them in manually before, even if you were, it was legitimate, it didn't, nobody knew it was legitimate at the time. I mean, that's what
Yeah,
you're saying. You come in and say, well, why'd you do this? Well, I can't remember, but I'm sure it was legitimate at the
yeah.
time.
Well, yeah, it's right. It's historical data. So
Yeah.
we have it, and it's logged, and it's time stamped, and so we know. For example, if a driver shows up and there's an empty lockbox where they can't pull the specimen out, from the doctor's clinic, well, then look, that's time stamped. They can upload a picture of the empty lockbox. We can timestamp that as well, so we know that they're not pulling not that they would, but not pulling
Yeah.
an old picture out of an old empty lockbox. And so we're pulling their geocode location and doing all that validation, but we're using that, using technology. And so it's been great. It's been great to, streamline a lot of that operation for our
Oh,
customer.
yeah. Yeah. I remember, you remember Twixes where you send in like, yeah, dot
Oh yeah.
matrix for hot shit, hot freight and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you
Yep.
talk about emails and computers. I mean, our computers, I remember when we first got, just the green screen,
Yeah. That's right.
we didn't have any of that stuff. We didn't have any of that kind of thing.
Oh
That's
yeah, man.
crazy.
I'm from the manual manifest days
Yeah.
too. And
I
I
love it.
remember.
I love it. I love it. Do you have active war inside your delays? Because that happened to me once at Roadway and we didn't have one.
No, really.
I was
Really.
in. We had a like a 3 horse barn terminal in Elmira, New York. Right.
Hmm.
It was and it was like in the middle of, I forget what the Indian reservation is up there,
Hmm.
but it's in Indian land. And BATFA decided that the truck stops along 90 in
Hmm.
this area were selling gasoline and cigarettes to truckers without taxing them because
Oh
the
wow.
natives didn't have to pay tax, so they were
Right.
doing that in order to get more business. They just were,
Hmm.
it was just, it wasn't advertised, but they were doing it.
Yeah.
So BATFA shut them down, and so they declared war on the United States and blocked the highway, and none of the inbound could get in.
Yeah, because it's sovereign land, right?
It's sovereign land. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I'm calling AGO, I'm calling the Akron General Headquarters, going, I have like 5 truckloads coming in, and they're all going to be late because we're at war. How do I mark all this stuff? It's
Oh
pretty.
my God. Yeah,
It's just an
that's
interesting story. How
yeah,
did you get into it, dude? What made you go, hey, I'm going to go do this instead, and instead of doing physical movement of freight anymore? Was it just you saw a need there from
we
from
did.
your experience?
Yeah, we did. We saw a need. I ran sales teams, throughout the last part of my career. So either for startups or larger companies. But I've built sales teams. That was my deal. And so the need really we saw from visiting customers over the years, and it was always the same process. Even today, you go into a lot of customers, and they're still picking up the phone and manually calling, the carriers and trying to get status updates, and the
Yep.
carriers are manually calling the customer trying to provide those updates back. And there's just we knew there's a more efficient way to do it. And so, I posed the question to a former coworker that's also a software engineer, my co-founder now, and he was absolutely, we can build that. So we set out, we bootstrapped the build of FetchGoat, and built worked on it for about a year, and then we landed a couple of very large customers right out of the gate, and we needed capital to get those guys deployed, and so we brought on an angel investor at that point, Mark Tuckman and his group, Last Mile King, and so they helped us out so we could get the platform structured and organized, and be able to onboard these large enterprise customers. And so that's what led us down that path. And we wanted to set out to improve that relationship between shipper and carrier, and to do that.
So does this play in the shipper exclusive arena to do this, or can carriers employ this to then offer kind of a service to them, both ways?
So it works both ways. So we work with enterprise shippers. We work with regional shippers. We work with 3PLs as well. So we work with 3PLs that have an agent network. We're working with a group now that's a large last mile conglomerate, and they have an agent network. So they're made up of probably 60 different couriers throughout the world, but again, they're managing all of them manually. And so we come in, we lay the technology over the top. We bring all of those 60 plus carriers under one technology, and it doesn't matter what TMS that they use, because our system acts as the interpreter for all those various technologies.
Yeah. So it seems to me also that this infrastructure would be good for what is been growing and growing and growing, is the reverse logistics on e-commerce as well, right? Does it apply as a solution there as well?
Yes, absolutely so. Absolutely so. Because we can capture that back at the customer level, what returns they have, and then so we built a piece of technology that benefits a lot of these. It's for the one-offs or on-demand shipments and returns, and so it's called FetchGoat now. And so the shippers can use that, or that last customer can use it to push that return or that on-demand order back towards the actual shipper themselves. It gives them everything from reason codes to pickup time, ready time, and as soon as it's picked up, it's automatically populated on the dashboard, so they got visibility to it, and so it's just not lost and sitting out there forever.
Fantastic. Hey, look, 20 minutes goes by like that. We're already over 20 minutes. It's been fantastic. I could geek out talking to you about this all day long, but we got to wrap this up a little bit. I do want to say this. Thank you for your service. I know you're a combat veteran from the docks of ABF. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, a combat veteran, thank you for your service. I can't let that go without saying that, because it's truly heartfelt. Thank you very much for that. And where are people coming to learn more about FetchGoat?
So best place to find us is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, we're very active on LinkedIn. Most of our customer base or potential prospective customer base is also on LinkedIn. So come find FetchGoat or myself. Please do both. Go like and follow FetchGoat, because we have daily posts about new releases and what we're doing within the industry. And then link with me too, or you can visit us at FetchGoat.com. That's right.
Thank you, brother. Peace and love, everybody. We'll catch you guys next time.
All right, my man. Thanks, Michael.